Leon awakes to find himself being carried along by a treant with angry fungal pygmies following along. After some conversation with the treant, Leon discovers he is taken to be tried at a tribunal for some transgression, and the reason the fungal pygmies are following is that they want his blood now. Seeing as how he is wounded and being carried 60 feet above the ground, Leon decides to sit back and enjoy the ride. He spends days in quiet contemplation, hoping everything leaves him alone. Eventually, the fungal pygmies lose patience and start an assault. Leon had been waiting for this and uses his magic to infuriate them further. Leon eventually wins the skirmish and decides to push his momentum and try to escape the treant. He is not strong enough. When might fails, he tries to talk his way out, which is always a mistake. So once again, Leon has no choice but to wait. Eventually, more pygmies show up. Leon bides his time, but eventually he runs out of food and convinces Alda to feed him and provide him with drink. When the treant brings him to a pond, Leon decides to try and escape, but his legs are no match for the giant treant's strides, and soon he is caught again. Leon decides to switch tactics and tries to be as annoying as possible. Leon's barrage of insults eventually gets to Alda, who decides to banish Leon from the forest instead of waiting for the tribunal. Lost, cold, and starving, Leon wanders until he eventually finds his way to civilization. Leon has a moment of crisis. All his previous plans have resulted in disaster, and he is not sure how to proceed. But at least he finally figures out how to read magic. Will Leon accomplish anything? Will he win the hearts and minds of chat? Will he ever get his revenge on the Goldsmiths' Union? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dicing with Death. Oh my god, it's been a long time.
It has been a hot second. Although I saw you just the other day on a little fur recap.
Yeah. But Dicing with Death, it has been a long time coming.
As usual, top-notch recap from Layla and Chris.
Spot on.
I was remarking to Neal while we were listening to it how they always manage to make our chaos into some coherent story, at least in retrospect. So
yeah, it always
I was like, oh,
that
happened. Well, that sounds like maybe someone planned it that way.
Yeah, it always feels like a jumbled mess while we're playing through it, and then the recaps make it sound like we had this well-planned, coherent story that was filled with adventure and hijinks.
Yeah, it's almost like it was written as a script. Okay, so Leon. It's been a little while. So I want to start out of character and make sure you're happy with your character sheet with all the advancement stuff, because I think we skipped a good deal of time when we last left off. You are safe in this tavern, of which I'm not even sure where my notebook is, but I may be able to find it in between a break or something.
Tavern?
Yeah. And you even had time to rest up. And so why don't you pull up your character sheet and tell me what it says?
Well, it says I think you should be 10 out of 12 HP, so not quite full. And it says I'm level 2/4.
Okay.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay. I mean, that's cool. So it sounds like you did have a chance to rest up at some point, right? You made it back to this tavern. Were we at the crossroads or were we in Brinton itself? I don't think it really matters. But we do need to get our setting.
Yeah, I think I made it to the tavern.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I was looking to see if I could apparently you don't recollect the name. I think it was probably, I don't. You could even. I think gave you the point of choosing. So remember you.
Well, I actually have a whole bunch of notes.
Yeah, after the events of the recap, you trekked and got lost in the woods for a while, and eventually found your way back to the path. And you would back to that bridge, that crossroads between Ashenholt and Brinton.
And Leon doesn't get lost. He just takes alternative paths to where he wants to go.
Sure, whatever. But you eventually made it back to civilization, and I think the only reason you are doing right, I think you rolled for a bunch of spells. You might even have leveled up to 4, right?
Yes, I think that's how
Correct?
it went down.
I think that's So you've been at a tavern for long enough to level up. I mean, you can. So I want you to tell me how long you've been. You can even. I mean, you can even backseat GM and name this tavern if you'd like, considering you plopped the assets down just before we went live.
Why don't we call this tavern...
what sort of tavern would Leon have settled down in for a week? Like last time you didn't make
Boar's Head Tavern.
Okay. You found a tavern called the Boar's Head in Brinton. Easy enough.
Tavern.
And that may have been a second tavern if I remember where
there was another tavern where I set my notes that had the bubbling pools delivery. But that wasn't this one. It was different.
No. I think you spent a night sleeping on the roadside amongst the camps on the banks of the river. Definitely. And then probably next day moved over to here where you've skipped an indeterminate amount of time. I think at this point it's been like several days, like almost not quite a week, but you can I mean, since time is kind of indeterminate at this point, you can prepare longer if you would like if there are more spells you need to roll on. I know I let you roll on a few. We skipped some time. And also I'll turn it over to you to establish any precautions you may be making, anything you're doing. So which of these rooms is yours? I was imagining a 2-story tavern, but it looks like this is just 1 story with the rooms in the back. Is that what I'm seeing?
Let's change that.
Yeah, why don't we bring our viewers over to the map here and maybe get some tavern music?
Sure.
Or maybe a slow flickering candle, depending on how you're interacting with the other patrons.
I can get some here. There we go. So I think that Leon's room, how much do I am pretty close to broke. So I'm probably taking like the smallest room I can find. I guess I have the room right next to the pooper.
There's a pooper?
Yeah.
They thought of everything.
There's 3 little toilets here. I think I've got the room right next to it. It's a good cover.
I think over the course of the week, you've gathered that this room is referred to as the boar's tail, the tail room.
I hope it's appropriately cheaper.
But it is the cheapest room in house, or at least high. It's I think it's around the same price as the one next to you, which is probably occupied.
Right.
But yours at least has a window for ventilation.
Thank God. Or is the ventilation the source of the smell? How good are their ventilations for their johns in this place? They know that you need a chimney above the rest of the roof? And
it is probably not up to code.
They don't have modern outhouse standards? Oh my God, the whole place probably reeks. It's okay.
It's overpowered by is there even a kitchen? There's not even a kitchen in this place. Where do they make the food? Over by the poopers? I think like this spot back here is like a prep room, like behind the bar, but there's there's
maybe they just
storage in the back, but there's no kitchen. They do just dry goods.
Food. Yeah. Or like
and wet goods.
Send a
cold goods.
I was gonna say send like a little errand boy to go grab food.
They probably have a lot of cured meats.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
sausages
somewhere over here. This kind of looks like a work area, you know?
Yeah. And then there's like a master's chamber there.
Yeah.
There's some larger rooms, and there's like a private meeting room there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a pretty cool tavern. Boar's Head.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I like it. So you've gotten comfortable here for a week. Do you want to tell us how you fit in? Do you want to, if you feel antsy, you can throw down some rando tokens. Perhaps on other like the barkeep.
I didn't feel antsy until
and
this
staff
moment.
and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Tell me what you've been up to this past week, other than, I mean, so you've probably been studying for 8 hours a day, resting. Do you talk to the staff, or do you just order charcuterie plates to your room?
I think the first 3 days were just ordering food and hiding out until I could memorize, learn a couple new spells and gain some hit points back and like rest up a little bit. I think I was in a little bit of trouble there. So once 3 days had passed, I probably started venturing out and maybe like sitting in the tavern when I'm not studying by candlelight or moonlight or whatever, sunlight.
Okay. Do you take any precautions in your room? Like, are you at all so you're, yeah.
So I
what's
would
Leon's
take
head? I mean,
precautions in my room. I would leave my spellbook in my room at all times. And I don't know if there is like a equivalent of a do not disturb sign, but
I think you just have to act curmudgeonly. I mean, it's not like a modern hotel. There's not staff coming to you.
Right.
And you said you're pretty broke, so you're probably not paying up. I think you've already paid for your time here. I think you paid well. I think you ordered meals in advance. So there are actually staff coming to drop off plates of meat and mugs of ale periodically throughout the day.
Right. I mean, it's also not super far to like go out and just get my drinks and stuff from the bar and then head back to my room. But I think do you snap? So you probably snap at the staff a few times when they disturb you in your chambers, and you take to just picking up food directly from or you may even want, if you want to avoid customers, you can sort of slip around that back door, just go raid the pantry basically. Yeah. Well, Leon's not too concerned about being noticed because I made sure that this wasn't a it's like the Lamplight Inn, I think, actually.
Okay, that sounds right. That I think that's probably where you spent the first night. And I don't remember if that may have just been a roadside inn. That may have been one of the first that you got to heading towards the city. I think and you may have gotten there later in the day. Who knows? I don't know. But, so you spent a night there, and then you moved on, and you settled in here. Right. You probably gave the bartender a false name or none at all. Maybe are you still wearing the same monk's robes?
Let's see. I think so. Yes, I think I'm still wearing the same monk's robes, but they're probably a little bit tattered and worn. You know, it was like living in a tree for a week.
Yeah, that makes you look less mad.
I think I just look like a really broke traveler who needs a chance to rest his weary feet because he's been walking for so long. And then is like kind of a grumpy, angry person, so he doesn't really get along with anyone. And
that's, yeah. And there are plenty of travelers in similar states along the road in these trying times.
Yeah.
So there's a barkeep. We can call him Boris. This is his establishment. Yeah, Bors, or probably Boris. Boris. You've never seen it written down.
That's okay.
But the sign out front spells boars in the animal.
Right.
So it's got a little picture of a pig. Boars probably he's in this master's chamber for the time being. He lives in house. He doesn't seem to sleep much, but he occasionally shuts himself in that room, maybe napping for hours at a time, or who knows. Then there's a couple barmen. Say a pair of them.
Well, I leave most of them to their thing and hope that they equally leave me alone.
Yeah, you probably don't even catch their names. There is occasionally, one of these young men or a young girl that you don't know either will drop off. Oh no, you said you just picked up at the bar.
Yeah, I just picked up my stuff at the bar.
Fine.
Yeah.
Cool. And looks like that is. I feel good. Yeah. You can keep
that's pretty good.
We may or may not, depending on time of. Well, yeah. So let's. Do you want to tell us what spells you have memorized? Perhaps remind us what new spells you've gotten.
So
and let me know if there's a.
Don't know which. I learned Summon Swarm, Maximilian. No, I failed Summon Swarm.
Summon Swarm is isn't that a cleric spell?
No, it's on my list. It's in the book.
Really?
I learned Maximilian's Earthen Grasp and Fool's Gold.
Huh? Have you? Oh, you said. I think last time you said you didn't want to use Fool's Gold.
No,
in the short term.
Right. Or I would use Fool's Gold if I was going to be leaving immediately. But since I want to stay at this place for a little while, I don't want to
Yeah, it sounds like you're at about the point. You probably burned through your real gold, and you may need to start wrestling with.
I am getting close. I'm down to my last 6 gold, 8 silver, 2 copper, and 1 platinum.
All right.
Yeah, Summon Swarm is a wizard spell. But I failed to learn that. I also learned Read Magic, finally. Thank the gods. And, well, Read Magic is what helped me get Fool's Gold and Maximilian's Earthen Grasp, my only 2nd level spells.
Yeah, cool. Is there anything... So, I don't know where we are in time now. Would you like to spend more days in study at the Boar's Head, or are you planning on splitting town soon?
I am planning on splitting town soon.
With the 10 out of 12 HP?
No, I was going to wait 2 more days. I want to get all the way back up to 12 out of 12, and then I'll split town. Okay,
so why don't we, so we can do play out these 2 days of downtime here?
Yeah, that sounds great.
What would you like to do? What spells, so tell me what spells you had memorized going into it. And
I have
then we can
2 Fists of Stone, 1 Chill Touch, 1 Read Magic, and I'm using a 2nd level spell slot to learn Taunt once. And then I've got 1 Fool's Gold and 1 Maximilian's Earthen Grasp.
Okay. A veritable arsenal.
Yes. A lot of combat spells.
Okay, and though you only have 12 HP, that is because you are missing an arm.
But yes, one of my arms is completely crippled.
It's not amputated, right? It's just
it's crippled. The shoulder was
and it's starting
shattered.
I think it's starting to atrophy. It's barely noticeable at this point, but it is like losing muscle mass because you're not using it.
But every now and then I'll cast one of them
spells. There seems to be an interaction with some of your spells that enable you to reanimate it, at least with magical energy.
Yes.
So say invoking the necromantic powers of Chill Touch.
Yeah.
To reanimate the limb for the duration of the spell.
Or Fist of Stone and have it kind of bulk up for a moment.
Yeah, or the earthen energies or whatever that summon the Fist of Stone are able to 18-100 strength stone is able to move your limp arm, your limp wrist.
Wonderful. And give me some temp HP.
Yes indeed. You can use the stone fist to absorb damage.
Mm-hmm. So I think these last few days that I'm spending here, I've learned what I needed to learn. I think there is maybe some more uncovered stuff in my book, but Leon has been studying and traveling and working really hard and kind of just wants a break.
Yeah.
So I think for a couple of days here, Leon is actually going to rest and relax and maybe spend some time sitting out in the bar. Don't sit on the table, guy. Like just listening and seeing what's up. Maybe trying to catch a word of something or someone. See if there's any news about the Goldsmiths Union in this part of the town.
Oh yeah, you want to pick a table and roll a charisma check?
I like the first part of that idea. Okay, so Leon is going to... You know what? I'm going to plop myself down in the dead center of the bar, facing away from the door.
And just listen?
Yeah, because I feel like here, at this point, I can kind of like... You know, if there's not a lot of people in here, I'm fairly close to wherever anyone would be sitting. Granted, I'm also in the middle of the room, so I'm sort of in a conspicuous spot. But, like, this gives me access to hearing all over the place.
So this is day 10 out of 12 HP. You will be
Right.
gaining 1 HP tonight.
Mhm.
I don't think you haven't declared what you've spent your work day in, but you can take. Are you taking breakfast, or maybe you slept in and you're taking lunch?
Yes,
in
I
the
am taking lunch. I'm having a
in the
special
common room.
4 heads sausage breakfast burrito with eggs.
They
and
do
potato.
not have breakfast burritos in Brinton. I'm sorry to say.
All right,
Tony, what?
Why not, man?
Yeah.
It's a fantasy world.
This is a sad, war-torn medieval dystopia. There's no breakfast burritos, Neal. There's a boar's head it's a plate of meat for your rich ass, and probably some cold fried eggs.
All right, can I just? Can I get some potatoes too?
Yes.
Okay, so
those
I'll
are
get
also
the
those are also
ingredients
cold.
of. Why are they all cold?
Because there's no kitchen in this place. They cook the potatoes like 2 doors down, and they bring the leftovers over here. So this was served at breakfast at the kitchen. You've learned how this place works by now. They're spiced well, but they're cold.
All right. Well, I'll eat my
and
cold eggs
the beer's
and my cold
warmish.
potatoes.
The beer's room temperature.
That's how they served beer back then, man.
Yeah, exactly. It came from one of those barrels in the back.
There's a place down the street from us that serves like old-fashioned warm ale from medieval time. Well, I don't know what medieval, but like ale that's supposed to be served at that temperature. It's not good. It's terrible. It's really unpleasant.
We'll debate the merits of warm beer another time, because I don't want to get derailed.
Okay.
Why don't you quit putting it off and roll that charisma check?
Right.
Let's see how this rumor gathering goes for old Leon.
Oh boy. An 18.
Is that the dice? No, it's a 12 plus your 6 charisma.
Yep.
Which has advanced.
Yes. But it's still not so good.
Still not so good. Yeah, I think the patrons just leave you alone. I mean, you're this crazy, bedraggled looking monk that's been hanging around the bar for the last week. You don't really talk to any. I mean, it's not all of these people are regulars, but yeah, you've got that got a don't mess with me demeanor no matter how you spin it. But do roll me a perception check. So I think you sit at this table for a couple hours, eat your breakfast slowly, and you don't hear anything either. Yeah, so so you spend a couple hours here, you have your breakfast, you feel like it's a relatively safe, reasonable tavern, right? You don't hear any rumors about you don't ever hear any rumors about the goldsmiths. Nobody pays you much mind, and maybe like some people walking in kind of go ew when they smell you and walk past your table. Most people don't even notice you. Some hours pass. What would you like to is this what you want to spend the day doing, or I assume you've got some wizardy stuff that you'd rather get up to?
Yeah, if I recall correctly, there were more pages in this book, and I hadn't figured out what spells those were.
Oh yeah,
I hadn't read magicked them.
Yeah, you've got about 100 incomprehensible pages. Well, right. You've begun to decipher meaning in the first couple of
I've gotten to page
chapters or whatever, but
27. Page 28 is the start of a new spell, and I don't yet know what spell that is. You were letting me put whatever spells I want in the spell book. Do you have anything else? Do you have anything that you'd like to insert, or should I just keep picking spells that show up in here?
You cannot decipher the runes at this moment. Cast a read magic spell, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I'll have to go to sleep and do it in the morning because I don't have one memorized, which means I have to discharge a spell slot.
You can. I would consider you rested enough to burn and exchange spell slots at this point. Sweet. You're going to have to find somewhere discreet to ditch your spells, ditch this magical energy you've imprinted in your mind.
Okay.
Or something. I assume that's not going to be the common room?
No, it's not going to be the common room. I'm looking up the material components for Fool's Gold. Copper coins can be temporarily exchanged to gold pieces, or brass items turned to solid gold for the spell duration by means of magic, which is 1 hour per level. The area of effect is 10 cubic inches per level. For example, a 1 inch by 1 inch by 10 inch volume or equivalent, equal to about 150 gold coins per level. Okay. Any creature viewing the gold is entitled to a saving throw versus spell, which can be modified by the creature's wisdom. For every level of the wizard, the creature must subtract 1 from their dice roll. Thus, it's unlikely the fool's gold will be detected if the caster, but if it's cast by a high-level caster. If the gold is struck by a hard object of cold wrought iron, there's a slight chance it will revert to its natural state, depending on the material that was used to create the quote-unquote gold.
You don't need to read us the whole spell. Do you have the material components for it?
Well, yeah, the material components are just gold and whatever I'm going to switch it into.
You mean copper?
Yeah, I think I need 1 golden coin and then some copper, like whatever I want to trade into it. There's a material component of gold, so I think it's the gold, like you need 1 gold coin to use as the model.
Materials gold. No, hold on. You need like powdered... Wait, if gold
Those are
is...
all optionals to increase the effectiveness of the spell.
This is some straight alchemy.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I don't think they're... I think it's just the material components of the copper coins that I have to change. I don't think there's any golden coin. Sweet.
Yep, so you can cast this if you want. You're only level 4, so it'll only last 4 hours.
That's fine. I will head into my room and take out my 2 copper coins and try my first fool's gold on it. Switching the 2 copper coins into gold coin.
Do you have a gold coin for reference?
I do.
Okay. Then I think you can just do this at will. Do you just change the copper coins, or do you try and gather more brass goods?
No, I'm just going to start with 2, and then I'm going to go exchange them in town after
Somatic, material, verbal. Okay, roll. Can you roll me an intelligence check? Or maybe do you have a spellcraft proficiency?
Double check that one. No, I do not.
Okay, then make me an int check at -2.
Nope, another failure.
Okay, I think you don't know this, but one of the serving staff spots like a spooky flash of light underneath your door as the spell goes off. It's not discreet.
All right.
Or maybe they hear you chanting or mumbling to yourself.
Right.
Rumors will get started, but the spell goes off flawlessly. The 2 copper coins transmute into gold. They even take on, I think, the whatever piece you're using as reference.
Oh, like the face and everything?
Yeah, so it looks like an identical. And in fact, you probably have to be careful not to get it mixed up with the... I mean, maybe they'll turn back in 4 hours anyways. But so now you have... you only use 2?
I only have 2, yeah. So I put my real gold coin back, and I just leave the 2 on my table while I rememorize Read Magic. So that way I can... learn more stuff. But before I cast Read Magic, I'm gonna head out into the city streets and see if I can pass these fool's gold off. You know, I gotta see how effective this spell is.
So you'd like to go try buying something?
Yeah, I want to go buy something.
All right. What would you like to buy?
Well, let's see. What do I have for here? I don't have a dagger, so I'm gonna go buy a dagger. That's what I'm gonna do.
All right. You can go to a forge down the street. It's not like a full-fledged weapon shop, but they sell knives and daggers at pretty much any corner smithery.
Right.
You are able to... So the blacksmith does not look twice at the tender you use, and you're able to exchange these 2 fool coins for a dagger? Or do you want to use one of your real ones?
No. 2 fool's gold coins for a dagger.
So drop the 2 copper, add a dagger to your character sheet. And he seems pleased with the sale as you walk off smugly.
I do. I walk off smugly and head back to the tavern so I can cast Read Magic and learn some new spells.
Cool beans. It probably takes you longer to memorize, but I think you need to like rest a little bit. Like, so maybe you need to like lie. I don't know.
But I want to at least cast Read Magic and learn what the spell.
Yeah,
is.
we can. Yeah, you don't need to take a full night's sleep. But yeah, whatever. You can. We're not on a time crunch, so you can you can rememorize that slot. It was actually a 2nd level spell slot, wasn't it? But Doesn't matter. I'll let you use that for read magic.
Right, that's what we've been doing up until now.
Unless Fool's Gold, unless this was your Elementalist spell slot.
No, that's Maximilian's Earthen Grasp.
Okay. So, read magic. I think you get a number of pages, correct?
Yes, it's 2 pages per level, I believe. No, 1 page per level. No, I don't know. Fuck it.
I think it's 2 minutes per level, which gets you a...
Yeah, it's 2 rounds per level, and each page is
round. You
round.
can do 2... You sure?
Yeah, so it's 2 pages per level.
2 rounds per level. No, 2 rounds per level. The wizard can read 1 page or its equivalent per round. Cool.
Okay. So since I'm level 4, that is 8 pages that I get to learn. So let's roll a...
So had you finished the last spell that you had started to...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you got 8 pages.
D6
yeah, you can go ahead and
plus
you
1
can go ahead
for
and
the
pick,
length of the first page, the book. Or spell?
Yeah, as before, you can go ahead and pick spells. So that's a level 1 spell, or is that a level 2 spell?
That's a level 2 spell.
It's a level 2 spell for 3 pages. Do you want to tell me what that is? As you decipher it, as you read it.
Yeah. So as I read through it, it is a wizard lock spell.
Cool. Just in the nick of time.
Yeah, I hope so. And then I'm gonna roll another d6 plus 1. Ooh, another 6 pages. Nice. And that is gonna be a What looks fun in here that doesn't get a lot of use? What? I want Fog Cloud, actually. That's a pretty sick spell. Although, actually, Fog Cloud might be Air Elemental, and I might not be able to learn it, but it's in here anyway. And then, last but not least, the next one is 5 pages, so I will not be able to learn it or even see the end of it.
Okay, but you can choose. You'll have to choose what the spell is. So you said Wizard Lock. What was the second one?
Fog Cloud.
Fog Cloud, and
I'm
the one that you don't finish.
One. Right. I think it's gonna be Detect Invisibility.
Cool.
Fantastic. Perfect. So that's what I do with Read Magic. And then, well, I bought a dagger. I cast a couple of spells.
So do you want to roll a D100 for those 2 spells to try and learn them? Oh, I guess that takes days.
Yeah,
so do you want to start working on one?
Sure. I'll lock myself in my bedroom.
I think those are 2nd level spells, so this will take you today and the next.
Right. And which is great because I only need rest here for tonight and the next day. So
so you can pick one to roll on.
It's gonna be Wizard Lock. I think Fog Cloud might actually be an air elemental spell, which I would be barred from.
That's interesting that it would be in your book then.
Well, because it's not my book; it's somebody else's book that I picked up.
I love it.
Oh, shouldn't be crippling myself. I get to pick my own spells, and here I am voluntarily like, yeah, here's a spell I can't use. That's a good idea.
And maybe you can find an air elementalist to trade with.
Yeah, and maybe I'm wrong, and there's just penalties for learning, or maybe Fog Cloud isn't a. Alright, so I can't learn. I definitely can't learn air elemental spells, and is Fog Cloud. Hey, Fog Cloud is not air elemental. I can totally learn it. Sweet. I'm
Cool.
still going to start with Wizard Lock, though. And it's going to be a D100 flat D100.
Ooh, I like that, Dome Hammer. Fogs can be made out of a variety of substances. I think your fog will... Oh, I mean, I guess fog is usually water vapor. But it could also be dust, like,
Ooh,
like,
cool.
like a sandstorm for your earth elemental.
That's
We'll
way
see if you
cool.
actually... We'll see if you actually can learn it.
I learned Wizard Lock. That's for certain.
You learn Wizard Lock. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So that will be on the next. So you will... I think it's like a fitful afternoon, late into the night, working. Rememorizing your read magic, casting your read magic, and trying to make sense of this Wizard Lock. I believe that has no material components or anything. And if you would like to reorganize your spell, sleep at some point, you can learn and cast spells, including this new Wizard Lock spell. You take breaks, I assume, to eat, or as you need, or maybe in the wee hours of the morning, you slip out to the pantry and find some salted meat or a jar of olives to take back to your room.
Yeah, definitely. Not a jar of olives, though. Olives are gross. Yeah. So I'll take this food back to my room. I will check out my new spell. I will consider locking my door with it. And then I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. I'll get in way more trouble. I can't remove it, can I? No, I can't just, like, dismiss it. So,
nope.
I'll hold on to Wizard
You
Lock.
can permanently lock the pooper. You can permanently lock the...
Oh god, I can lock
the
someone
caboose
in
over here.
the caboose. Wait till someone's in the John and just Wizard Lock, haha.
Okay. So you do not use your new Wizard Lock.
No, I'm not going to use Wizard Lock.
Yeah. So go ahead and gain the 2 HP.
Perfect.
You're at 12 out of 12. Remind me what spells you have memorized.
For this, instead of learning another read magic, I'll just go and get a copper, so no fool's gold. I could get another Maximilian's Earthen Grasp, or you know what? I will grab a Wizard Lock in case I need a defensive spell. If I'm being chased or something, I can go through someone's house and Wizard Lock it on my way through. Got a low casting time. Yeah, that's my plan. So my spells are Fist of Stone, Chill Touch, Shocking Grasp, Taunt, Maximilian's Earthen Grasp, Wizard Lock.
Okay. Sweet. And you are not casting Wizard Lock?
Nope.
All right. And you are probably exhausted. I mean, what's your mindset after all this? You are filled up on HP and spells, but you probably haven't. I don't know. You would have had to get rested enough to get your Wizard Lock.
I want to get the hell out of here. Is what I'm thinking.
But I think because of the odd timing of things, this winds up being evening.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So
do you think you're planning on splitting that night?
No. I was gonna grab a boat.
You're
today?
not.
No.
You wouldn't know where you would have. That'll be a thing, but we can go do that.
I forgot.
But I don't think it'll matter.
I forgot why I'm in Brinton. Hold on. It's
I
been
did
so
too.
long since we played Leon. I can't remember why I was coming to Brinton.
Okay, so I think you're laying in bed this second night or whatever. Trying to figure out, or this evening, I don't know, trying to figure out where to go, what to do.
Yeah.
Are you going to sleep here again? You're probably paid up through today. In fact, I think, are you totally out of gold?
No, I have money. I'm not I'm not in dire straits yet, but
yeah, you may even have built up a tab these last 2 days but Boris trusts you'll cover it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will sleep here and crash out, and in the morning, I will go about what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay. You've taken no precautions.
I mean, I've been here for like a week or so.
I think
and it's
what
been
we'll do
nice and quiet, so.
is we will take our break, and then we're going to pick up that night It might be a short segment. It might be a longer one. We'll see how Leon fares.
All right.
But I guess we'll catch you guys on the other side.
Bye-bye.
Go ahead and fade to black.